For each of the following quadratic functions, let's identify the vertex and the axis of symmetry. In order to do this, we have to first identify the form. What form is this quadratic function in? Say it again? It is standard. So from standard, we know that we can identify A, B, and C. A is -1, B is 4, C is -12. In order to be able to identify the vertex and axis of symmetry, let's just go with the vertex first, because the vertex is going to lead to the axis of symmetry, not vice versa. How do I find the vertex? Yeah, it still took my first period like almost 5 minutes to do. So h is equal to -b. If b is 4, that will be -4 over 2 times a, which is -1. If you either do that in your head or put it in the calculator, you get -4 over -2, which is +2. I could answer the axis now if I wanted to. I'll just wait until the end to write it, but I now know my axis of symmetry is going to be at x is equal to 2. Why is you tripping? I wish. All right, so now synthetic substitution. But wait, mister, I still don't get how to do it. Well, then you don't have to. You're not getting tested on synthetic substitution. Oh, thank God. And I actually don't consider it to be all that challenging. So if you don't understand it by now, I would assume it has more to do with paying attention than it does to do with its complexity. But again, the beautiful thing is you don't have to do it. If you just want to plug in 2 for each of the x's, you have my blessing. Let me see. You know what I'm saying? So we got 2, then a -1, then a 4, then a -12. Drop the -1, multiply -2, 2 multiply 4, -8. So here is H, here is K. Where is my vertex going to be at? It is going to be at 2, -8. And then the second part, which is asking you about the axis, what is the equation of the axis of symmetry? X equals 2. Yeah, you gotta start with x equals, because the x equals is what makes it vertical. And then, booyakasha. Thanks, Dario. Not like that. You just start there, but do the exact opposite. I can't move my hand up. Okay, identify the vertex and the axis of symmetry again. But what's different about this one? It does have a parenthesis, yeah, and actually I was wrong. This is the one that took my first period still forever to answer, but that's not enough. Like, what does it mean that it has a parenthesis? It means that it's already in vertex form. You can't just mention the parentheses because actually there's another form called intercept form, which is not on the iPhone. It's on the no phone. As long as you say it's sorry, then it's fine. But just saying a parenthesis is not enough because intercept form also has parentheses. It actually has 2 parentheses. So here with vertex form, we're going to identify A, H, and K. And then the beautiful thing is that, I mean, you probably don't even need to write this down. What's H? -5. Because in order to find the vertex, if you're already in vertex form, all you have to do is identify. You don't have to find, just identify. What are the coordinates of the vertex here? It is -5, -2. Isaac was just about to say it, but then you stole it from him. How dare you? I take care of you, Isaac. I saw Tiffany the other day. She said hi. Oh, she told you. Good. She was like, "Oh, I miss Isaac," and I was like, "Oh, well, hey, you guys will see each other again." She's so pretty. She's so pretty.
I already said it, Jason.
Didn't I say what?
Didn't I already say x equals -5?
Fine. So you can have it. So x equals -5. Take that, Jason.
I think that's the size of my lunch.
You kiss your mother with that mouth?
You don't laugh. Why?
Oh, no, Dad. So yeah.
I don't either. See, this
I
is
don't
why
know
we
my
can
own parents. So it doesn't like me.
Can we leave all that for like another
I
time?
don't like my dad.
Like damn.
It's just a figure of speech, so just we don't have to go off on tangents. Yeah, okay, very good. This is standard form, but well, technically it's not standard form because in order to be standard form, you're supposed to go from biggest exponent to least. And here they don't have, so this is more simplest form than standard, but that's fine as long as you're aware of this. What's the A gonna be?
4.
No, that's the thing. It's 2.
Huh?
Because it's
Okay, yeah, if you actually listen to what I said beforehand, I said it. You can treat it like standard, but technically standard has to go from biggest exponent to least. It doesn't matter as long as you recognize that the 2 is in front of the x squared.
Oh.
What's in front of the x?
A.
The 8, and then what's the constant?
I didn't think about that. I didn't look at it before I said this, so that's why.
I think it's Jason's fault.
Yeah, he distracted me with his cursing.
Pardon me.
Watch your program.
Alright, so now let's find each. Negative 8 over 2 times 2, which is negative 8 over 4, which and now whether you plug in synthetically or traditionally, negative 2, 2, 8, 4, 2, negative 4, 4.
This is man-made.
What?
Is it man-made?
It's man-made.
It's synthetic.
It was made in Taiwan. So where's the vertex going to be at? Negative 2, negative 4, and then Taiwan loves the axis of symmetry.
I trademarked it. Yeah. That's how much I love
The axis.
Yeah, and well, this is going to be kind of a trend for a while, so you can figure this is going to be heavily featured.
it.
Yeah.
Now, what's nice about this one?
It's already in that form. Vertex
It's in that form. It's in that
Vertex
form. Yeah, it is, and you might not recognize it as vertex form because the thing is here, k is 0. There's no constant outside. What's A?
Negative 4.
Negative 4.
H is 2.
Negative 2.
Plus 2.
It is 2. Take that type one.
I can't be all the time.
Well, it should be. So.
Okay, vertex is that?
2, 0.
And then
X equals 2. No, it's not 2. X equals 2.
Well, still.
No,
Yes.
no. There's a difference.
you know Taiwan's all about the details.
Yeah, I know.
He sweats the small stuff.
Exactly. But that'll give you enough.
No.
So does Isaac. Isaac's also about the details. Okay. Yeah, this is standard form. So now, in order to, I have to actually find the vertex. It's not given to me. It's not given to Jonathan either. So Jonathan's gonna find it. If b is negative 2, what is negative b?
Yeah.
Positive 2. Elsie, are we focusing?
Yes, it's
So the H equals 1.
Yeah, she's gonna stink up the room now. No, not necessarily.
You know, I do it all the time. For what? You
drop the 1, 1, negative 1, negative 1, negative 6. You like bad days?
No, today's
Why? You're in Algebra 1.
Today's not a good day, today's not a bad
You have OSS tomorrow?
Yeah.
You did something else?
No, I just worry is what Mr. Herman was like, you're doing so many ISS things, that's not really helping me, so I should take maybe OSS.
So you're going to miss the test
I was
then?
supposed to have it today, but then I got changed, so I need to
You want to take the test during advisement then, so that you don't miss the test tomorrow? Because if you miss it, you can still take it, but you won't get the curve. If you take it afterwards.
I could.
Up to you.
But I need to study. Really? More.
Yeah, that should have been done already.
I like studying more. I want to study more.
Study, but you won't get the curve. You take it after. Vertex is that? Invisible type 1.
Can I take it during lunch? Can I study during advisement?
No, because lunch is my lunch too. I need to eat lunch. More importantly, you probably won't have enough
Can I
time.
come during any class period?
If a teacher wants to let you out,
Can I come at like 5?
I don't mind if a teacher lets you out. I'm not going to give you a pass to get out, but if they want to let you out, that's fine.
But I'll study during advisement and during lunch.
Okay. Whoa. Whoa, Mr. Romero, this is getting really redundant. This is like the same thing over and over again. This is good practice. Yeah, identifying. This is vertex form, so we're back to A, H, and K. 1. What's H?
1.
5. And K is 4. So the vertexo
5 4.
it is at 5 forks, and then
X equals 5. 5 4.
Why is it called 5 forks? Like, where's the other roads have like 4 forks?
well, I'm not from here, but I've noticed that a lot of streets have like 2 names on it, and apparently it's like a street that connects those. Like, so there's like Lawrenceville Swanee Road, and then that connects
Like
Lawrenceville to
Nelson
Swanee,
Park.
and then there's like, so I think 5 Forks and Trickham were like, I guess, areas, and
There's
then
5 forks Trickham Road.
and then that's what connects yeah, from the hood. All right, now we're starting to change things up.
No, stop. This is so cringy.
Now we're being asked for y-intercept. Huh? Very good. The beautiful thing about this is that since we're in standard form, the y-intercept, as Elsie said, is just C.
I said that first.
Now, luckily, the test tomorrow will be in.
Multiple choice? Shut up, Nick. As he's trying to say something, but you're being
Why do you think I'm asking him?
because he's gonna say it.
Since it's multiple choice, the form will be chosen for you. It's not like you have to know how to write it, but just for you to know where you might see y equals 15, you might also see 0, 15. Those are both ways of saying that the y-intercept is at 15. What's different here?
You can figure it out.
It is in vertex form. Neither A nor H nor K will help you find the y-intercept. So the only thing we can do here is understand that in any function, whether it's quadratic or not, to find the y-intercept, you gotta plug in a 0 for x. Like I could have done the same thing here. I just didn't need to because it was a waste of time. I could have put in a 0 for these x's, but I know I was gonna end up with 15. But here you have to. If you want a y-intercept, so negative 0 minus 3 squared. That's how you find out why. Also, you know that this could kind of also be considered your studying too.
I will take this.
0 minus 3 is? 0 minus 3 is not 0.
It's -3.
It is, and that brings up another interesting little dilemma here. That some of you may have been trained to recognize, hey, I have a double negative, that becomes a positive. Does anybody know what operation you're doing? When you do that, when you convert a double negative to a positive, you're actually doing something.
Multiplication.
You're doing multiplication, and it actually counts as multiplication. Because negative times negative is positive. But there's also an exponent here, and PEMDAS, exponent supersedes multiplication. You have to square first. You're squaring a -3, and yes, when you square a negative, you do get a positive, but this little sneaky negative is just waiting on the outside to pounce. So, negative, somebody's phone is gassy. -3 squared is 9, but then when that negative in front drops as if it was hot, it stays as a -9. Which you might also see as 0 -9. Right, Isaac? Isaac loves y-intercepts. He does not like x-intercepts.
This makes homework look like.
Well, yeah, speaking of homework, yeah, that's the other thing.
Right.
Even though I'm sure most of you have not gotten around to it yet, that would be another way to study for tomorrow's test. I believe it's on Delta Math this week.
I was studying Delta Math.
Jocelyn is flirting. She's not studying right now. All right, y-intercept. What form is this in? Yeah, this is already in standard, so just whatever C is. This might also be 0. What is really popular? Who is that? Need our hats. Sarah, any questions? No. Okay. These may or may not show up on the test tomorrow. And no, we haven't gone over them, but the fact that it's multiple choice, I don't really feel too bad about it because everything that you need to do this, you already possess. Like we haven't done problems exactly like this, but if it's multiple choice, it kind of steals some of the thunder away from it. What form is this in currently?
Standard.
It is in standard, right? Well, from standard, I can identify A, B, and C. They want me to change this to vertex. In order to write something in vertex, what values do I need? A, H, and K. So really, all they're asking me to do here is to convert A, B, C to A, H, and K. All right, what is my A, B, and C for this one? 1, 8, and -6. And the beautiful thing is that the A transfers over. Whatever the A is in standard form, it'll be in vertex form. So really, this is just an elaborate way of asking you to find H and K, which we've already done today. We've done it like 3 or 4 times already. I'll see, how do we find H?
Use the equation.
Yeah, which one is it? We're all studied up right now.
It would be. No, it's A over. No.
More finger. You need more air finger.
-2.
No.
I don't know the equation, but I know how to do it.
Negative B over 2A.
Negative B over 2A. -8 over 2 times 1 is going to be -8 over 2, which is -4. Bam, I got my H. And then now I would find K by plugging in -4 into 1, 8, and -6. K ends up being -22. So even though we haven't done any problems, your phone is gassy.
Yeah, it's been going off for like the past 5 minutes.
There it is.
Like that, that's like 1,000. Yeah, it's
You're very popular. You're getting tagged everywhere. So even though we haven't done any conversions yet? Hope. Weren't you just yelling at somebody for talking when I'm talking? But it's okay when I do it. My name translates to Esperanza, so that's what makes it okay. I wish.
Yeah, my name's German. I was from
Since these are since this is multiple choice, it should not be that hard. Now that you know what A, H, and K are, it should not be that hard for you to identify which one it is. And Nick, no, it is not A. Because if H is -4, when you see H in the function, you're not going to see a -4. You're going to see a +4. So which one is it? C. Very good. Well played, sir.
So why would it be algebra then?
Well, remember that, like, so like, let's say we were to go backwards, right? And I were to give you, let's say we started with C, and I asked you what is A, H, and K. What would you tell me A is there? What's H? No, it's not 4. It's -4, because remember, you got to change the sign with H. And then K is -22. Well, that's exactly what I just found.
Alright. So you always make it negative. It goes always negative.
No, we just change the sign.
Change the sign. Negative.
Or does it get you? Okay, average rate of change is what we did on Monday, where we had one of our worst days lately. We just could not focus. Every other class I was able to finish except for this one. They're giving you the interval, which are the x's. In this case, it's 0 and 1. Darío, since one of the x's they're giving you is 0, what's the y that's going to go with that one?
2.
What is, on any function, what's el mielci? No sé. What is the y that goes with any x that's 0? We just talked about it like today. Anytime x is 0, what is y? What is y considered to be? We just did a problem with it. I take it back. We did 2 problems with it. X is 0, then y ends up giving you something. X is 0, y ends up giving you something. Yeah, what do we call that? What do we call that? Thank you. The y-intercept. Yes, that's what I was asking you. So, yes, you could substitute a 0, okay? But because this is in standard form, I know that the y is going to be 2 because of the constant. But now the 1 I got to plug in. Darío, I asked you first because I remember you were confused about that one. 2, 4, 6. Elsie, attention. So slope note is 2 minus 6 over 0 minus 1 is -4 over -1. Oh.
Like y2 minus y1.
Huh? Yeah, here now see it. So Nick, what Nick is asking me is, look, x1, y1, x2, y2, right? He noticed that I did y1 minus y2 and x1 minus x2. Now, where I'm really gonna blow your mind is what would have happened if the question would have been written. You think it's gonna change the slope at all? I mean, if I would have written it the other way, then I would have been doing y2 minus y1. It doesn't matter. It doesn't, who's to say which one comes first and which one comes second? I just do it that way because I like reading from left to right. But you do whichever way you want. The only difference would have been is that here on this step, on that step there, if you do the points in backwards order, you get positive 4 over positive 1. LC, 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 LC. Yeah, there's an easy fix for it. What do you think? Well, there's an easier fix than that. What's the easier fix than that? No, I wish that. Believe me, that's not easy. Hey, this is similar to the one that we just did a couple problems ago. Let's convert it to vertex form, which we haven't done yet, but hey, we're doing it now. And because it's multiple choice, it takes a lot of the sting out of the problem. In reality, all we're just going to find is H and K. What's A here?
B.
A is not B. What's A? 1, negative 2, and 8, which means that A carries over. No, but it's just whatever A is. Is A always 1?
It depends on what's in front of the square.
The last one. It's very common to be 1, but it's not always 1. So H is going to be LC. How do you find H? Negative B over 2A. So if B is already negative, you're going to make it positive. 2 divided by 2 is 1. Are you trying to show off for Soha by picking on tab 1?
He's not talking to me.
Oh, I thought he was talking to me. Better not be talking to me. Okay, drop the 1, multiply 1, negative 1, negative 1. So I found out that H was going to be 1 also, and K was going to be 7. So which one of those choices has these values? Well, I always learn that if you don't know what to put, always pick C. That's why I picked it. Yo no sé. That's a fact. All right. Now we're going on the way back machine to Monday. Back to average rate of change, but now they're giving us a table, which we found were the easiest of the bunch. When x is negative 2, that's the first part of the interval. The y is negative 5. When x is 1, y is negative 2. So those are my 2 points. I'm going to find the slope between negative 2, negative 5, and between 1, negative 2, negative 3. So negative 5 plus 2 over negative 2 is negative 3 over negative 3, which is 1.
What?
First period was able to finish.
Oh yeah.
And they actually finished like with time left over with you guys. That might go all the way to the bell.
It's because we like having fun.
Too much fun.
We've been good all year, so no.
And now you want to be bad.
No, we just want to enjoy our last week.
There's no such thing as enjoyment in Algebra 1.
But
So
you
that's
were
not
saying
easy.
it's fun.
There's no such thing.
Hey, next year are you gonna be our Algebra 2?
You don't take Algebra 2.
I mean, not Algebra 2. I'm at second semester.
No, probably not.
What is that? Oh.
All right, so now to graph, which is only slightly more challenging than the table. The only thing is you have to like search for the y, but it's still there. You don't have to actually calculate anything. Oh, when x is negative 3, it might be hard for you to see. Y is 5. And when x is 1, y is also 5. You could probably, or you should be able to get away with this one without even using slope formula, because if you look at this and you connect those dots, it's a horizontal line. What's the slope of any horizontal line?
0.
It is 0, but let's confirm it anyways. So 5 minus 5 over negative 3 minus 1 gives you 0 over negative 4, and 0 divided by anything is 0. Look like Freddy Krueger.
I don't have one. Oh, yeah. His brother is Edward Scissorhands.
Edward Scissorhands?
Edward Scissorhands.
Here's another graph. So when x is negative 1, if you can't see it on the paper that
Uneven.
I was so rude to give you with printouts that were so small. When x is negative 1, y is negative 6, and then when x is 2, y is 0. Even before I use slope formula, I can tell what type of slope should I get here.
Positive.
Positive, thank you. When you go up and to the right, down and to the left, it's positive. So let's see, slope is negative 6 minus 0 over negative 1 minus 2. Negative 6.
No, we don't. I'm gonna kill Mr.
Your bio scores are out already.
They are? Like on E class?
Oh, I don't know about it if you'll see them on E-Class, but the only one I've seen is bio. That's a good question. I would ask your biology teacher.
Don't they put them in the grade book because it's in it?
They do put them in the grade book, and it is 20% of your grade.
Yeah. Our packet was
Okay. You might want to pay attention to these. What is the maximum or minimum of the function? Now, this is not asking you just if you have a maximum or minimum, but if it were to ask you, does this have a max or a minimum? This does have a minimum. How do you know that it's a minimum? Because A is positive, right? A is positive too. But whether it's a maximum or a minimum, what do those words relate to? When you're talking about maximums or minimums, what are you talking about specifically?
How much money it costs? Just how much? Like maybe you want to pay.
What do those words reference when you talk about maximum or minimum?
Maybe you want to pay.
Oh, how low the graph goes.
Okay, I guess, but what is at either the lowest point or the highest point of a graph of a parabola? Thank you. Ding, 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 ding. The vertex. So this is just another way of asking you for vertex, but depending on how it's worded, see how here they're just asking me for a minimum value for one value. If they're asking me for one number, it's k, because the vertex is h comma k. If they're asking, you just said it, how high or how low? Well, what goes up and down? Y. What's the y of the vertex? K. So this is a minimum. This one here, we want to know specifically how low does this go. So negative b, LC is now an extra at this negative b over 2a is negative 7. But that's not really what I wanted. I wanted a k. You do not, that's the thing, you do not have to do synthetic. You are not getting tested on synthetic. I do not care if you do it or if you don't substitute synthetically. I just try to give you an option that would hopefully make you be less likely to make a mistake. But if you want to plug in a negative 7, either on paper, on the calculator, whatever you want, be my guest. Negative 7, 228, negative 8, 2, 14, 14, 98, 6.
Wow.
So this graph will go as low as negative 106. I can't even count that low. They won't. Remember, you're taking a multiple choice test. You don't have to really graph anything. You just have to be able to look at a graph and identify it. Are you still not talking to Taiwan? Hey, another maximum or minimum? Maximum. This would be a max because A is negative, but that's not really what they're asking us. LC, what's the formula for H?
Negative B over 2.
Look at that. So that ends up giving us positive 7. Taiwan, it's learning time.
I am learning.
Drop to negative 2, negative 14, 14, 98, 88. So here, this is a maximum. This graph is this is an upside down parabola that will go as high as 88. Yo no sé. And finally, the last one. We're back to average rate of change, but Darío, here there is none of the endpoints of the interval are 0, so I'm gonna have to find both of these. I know my points are gonna be negative 1 comma something and 2 comma something, but I'm gonna have to substitute for both of them. So negative 1 first, negative 2, 1, 2. So negative 2, 2, 3, negative 3, negative 1. When x is negative 1, y is negative 1. Then for the 2, negative 2, negative 4, negative 3, negative 6, negative 4. And now we gotta find slope like they do in the hood. Where I'm from.
They subtract 2 from 4. Right before
No, it's negative 1 plus 4 that'll go on top, and then negative 1 minus 2. Subtract the y's on top, subtract the x on the bottom. That's 3 over negative 3.
No, you're not, JJ.
Any questions?
No. See, we've been trying.